Hello and welcome to EFT Universe. I'm your host, Dawson Church, and I'd like to share with you today some information about part of the EFT routine called the 9 Gamut Procedure. You'll find this on page 217 of the EFT manual. And for a long time, the 9 Gamut Procedure was declining in importance in EFT. Many practitioners left it out altogether over the last 10 years, and less use has been made of the 9 Gamut Procedure in the last few years. However, we're now finding new research showing that the 9 Gamut Procedure, and especially the eye movement part of it, can be really useful in certain cases, especially things like early childhood trauma, before you have conscious memories to work with, birth trauma, womb trauma. For example, if the father and mother are fighting, the fetus in the womb is being affected by adrenaline, by cortisol, by all the biochemistry of stress going through the placenta and into the child's body. So even in the womb, we often are getting taught how to feel stressed by our parents' interactions. These are all cases where the 9 Gamut is very useful. I've even had therapists who work with veterans tell me that after they've had a few sessions with the veteran, they've established rapport, the veteran's making progress with EFT, they'll begin to use the 9 Gamut at the very start of a session before they do any other work with the veteran to help them stabilize to the point that they can work on specific events thereafter. So here's the research on the 9 Gamut Procedure. It shows that this bizarre-looking process has a link to the memory of trauma and the healing of trauma. Just to quickly recap what is involved with the 9 Gamut Procedure, what you do is you tap throughout the procedure on this part of the hand over here, this groove between these two bones. And while tapping on that part of the body, you close your eyes and open them. You then look down hard to the left, look down hard to the right, then roll your eyes in a big circle around every point of the compass, then roll it in a big circle in the opposite direction. You then hum a few bars of a song. You then count from 1 to 5. You then hum again. Now again, that seems really weird, watch people rolling their eyes all around. But a piece of research that I was intrigued by a couple of years back came from the journal called Traumatology. I peer-reviewed this paper while it was in the process of being reviewed by the journal to see if it was suitable for publication. And in this piece of research, an optician and a psychiatrist did a collaboration. What they found was that when traumatized people remembered a traumatic memory, that at the peripheral edge of their vision, their eyes fluttered. They could not hold their eyes steady. Once they were cured, once they no longer had this big fight or flight response to that traumatic memory, that fluttering stopped. So the psychiatrist and the optician began to collaborate on cases. And the optician could tell if the psychiatrist was successful with a case of PTSD or an emotional trauma when he could see that the subject could move his or her eyes through the peripheral vision, through the whole range of peripheral vision without that flutter. So for whatever reason, something to do with information processing in the brain, something in the way we process bad memories, emotionally triggering memories, has to do with our peripheral vision, and our peripheral vision reflects back whether we've been successful in integrating those traumatic events into our lives, or whether they're still active as traumas. So I invite you to try using the 9 Gamut Procedure more and more, see what you get, especially in cases where people can't remember trauma, where they have lots of trauma, or where they have pre-birth trauma. Check your EFT manual, page 217, read the 9 Gamut Procedure, become familiar with it, and try it out on yourself and on issues. So to begin with, I'd like you to pick some problem you worked on that isn't very clearly defined in your mind. So unlike a memory you have that you can use EFT with, a specific event, let's pick something that's hazy, that you think there might be something there, but you aren't sure what. For example, it could be a vague feeling of unease. It could be a vague ongoing anxiety, just a generalized anxiety you feel about things that isn't tied to a particular event. Usually with EFT, we try and nail those events and apply EFT to them. The 9 Gamut is fabulous where you can't find those events, or you know there's something lurking in the background, but you aren't sure what it is. So just think about something that you feel that you know is active in your your emotional world, but you aren't sure what that thing is. So pick some sort of feeling that is active in your emotional world that you cannot tie to a particular event. Now rate that on a scale from 0 to 10, with 0 being no distress and 10 being maximum distress. I was talking to a clinical psychologist friend of mine last month, and he was saying he had generalized anxiety his whole life at about the level of 3. He was always slightly anxious all day, every day. That's a good example of the kind of thing to apply the 9 Gamut to. So think of your emotional feeling. Think of your number of severity, 0 to 10, 0 being no severity, 10 being maximum severity. And also if you can find a part of your body that it particularly applies to, it might be in your forehead, it might be in your throat, might be in your chest, might be in your shoulders. Just write down now what your general feeling is, what your number is, and how you know it's that number. What in your body is telling you it's a 3 or 4 or 5 or 7. Okay. So you've now got your number, you've got your emotional feeling, and you've got your body location that tells you the severity of your number. So let's now do the 9 Gamut. We'll begin by tapping the Gamut point. So tap, close your eyes and open them. Eyes hard down to the left. Eyes hard down to the right. Keep your head still while you do this. And then eyes in a big circle around every point of the compass. Don't skip any, don't go too fast, because if you go too fast, the chances are you'll skip some point and won't realize you've done that. Now eyes in the opposite direction. Again, make sure you cover every single point of the compass. Don't jump over any. Nice, slow, easy pace. And now go ahead and hum a few bars of a song. Now count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hum again. Now take a nice deep breath and tune in again to the issue that bothers you, that general feeling, whatever it is, where it is in your body, and write down your new number. And hopefully it's gone down a bit. It may not have gone down to a 0, but maybe it went down from a 3 to a 2, or a 4 to a 1, and you got some kind of result from the 9 Gamut. So keep this important tool in your toolbox. It's not for everyday use. You don't have to do this part of every EFT session, but it's useful to have it where people's numbers aren't going down, where there's early childhood trauma, where there are many, many, many traumas, and other times when you aren't getting success with EFT. Thanks again, and stay tuned for more.